is apparently going to stimulate a buildup of the military in Europe and certain factions moving one way or the other, and not necessarily siding with the U.S., by the way, which is interesting. So that's kind of what we might be looking for or at very, very shortly here. And I hope not, obviously. I've been in contact with Miriam Delicato, and she is, again, gone to meet with some more indigenous peoples and is working very diligently in that area, trying to bring these people to speak out to the public and tell people what they know, the secrets they've been carrying as part of their tradition for years and years. And so hopefully at some point some of these gatherings, great gatherings that we're working on, will come to the fore. And these are gatherings that have to do with changing consciousness and bringing that all forward. So
I think we've had some good events occur in light of the fact that we've had some bad ones. You know, on a Friday, the last time I was on before I had the interviews on the Anglo-Saxon mission, I predicted that there would be an attack, again, a resurgence on deflammatory and misinformation and psychological operations against the militias. And then that weekend, we had a militia raided in Michigan. What's happened since then, Carrie, I'll update you with, is the fact that it's backfired quite a bit. One of the organizations, another militia, had gone to that area and had filmed the federal government planting evidence on that militia. There was also some information we got that the government infiltrator had modified that militia that they arrested, that they had actually modified their website in order to have evidence. And this kind of thing is beginning to be caught more quickly, and so the news ramped down fairly rapidly, and they weren't able to do their psyops as long as they had intended, like they had for some of the other events that occurred. But the information I'm getting is that they are going to resurge the psyops, and they're going to be including more broad strokes. So that means they might be including like the Tea Parties and the Oath Keepers and a whole bunch of other people that we already know are just political organizations. They're not even militia, nor are any of these groups, including militia, anti-government. And so the PSYOPs is about ready to come back online for a real big push. Now that group, you said Israel would be included in that attack in Iran, goes right straight back to the Anglo-Saxon mission. And it's because that's the people that are calling themselves Anglo-Saxons that are not. They're not anywhere close to it. And I know it's not hard on your show to say they're not even human. If they are, they're only partly human, that are actually launching this agenda. And that agenda includes Israel attacking Iran. That's what it includes. And that's part of this whole thing. It's a big picture. But one of the neat things about it is that we're having a dulling. We're having an effect on them. It seems that when they do try to accomplish something, that it's not having the impact that it used to. I mean, it's not, if we had another 9/11 event, I doubt seriously it would have as much impact upon our psyche as it did before, because, we're now prepared and people have moved along. It has changed, and I think we're making some progress. I do have a concern, though, about one of the plans that I keep hearing about, and I think this can be remedied at the local level from everybody that listens, and that's the fact that they're planning a food shortage. This is a contrived, deliberate thing, and it's well on its way. It's in operation now, and there's nothing like getting the people enraged, upset, and engaged in ways that will lead to more tyranny, of course, than to create a food shortage. And so that's why I'm encouraging on the Waterman Files when we're talking every day, every time I'm on, we talk about community and getting with your farmer markets, creating a local economy, and engaging very closely with growers and gardeners. So it could be the way that we can keep that from happening. During the First World War, in our world wars, there was no healthier day in America than when we were growing victory gardens and giving ourselves good food. And so we just need to get back to that.
Well, yes, thank you. And I do want to say that if people hear there's a leaf blowing machine back over where I am currently, so I apologize if there's some background disturbance. I will attempt to mute my mic whenever that happens, if at all possible. I do want to say that we are going to be taking advertising from like-minded advertisers on the Camelot site, on what is called Project Camelot Productions. And just contact me at my email, which is carrie@projectcamelot.org. And that is also on our website, that information on the Camelot portal. So if you're interested in perhaps seeing one of your ads on Camelot, we do have a terrific amount of traffic on our sites. Around 1 million visitors a month is how it's going. So there's something there to be had as far as perhaps trying to help other people to get some of these eyeballs, as they say, on their own sites and on their own material and things, books, whatever it is that you particularly have to sell. And also that includes things like, I guess, storing food and so on, because that's always valuable, especially at this time. As you will know, we had a very large earthquake in Baja California that was felt, from what I understand, all the way north to Oregon and then over in Arizona as well as possibly Colorado. And I myself anticipated this event and was talking about it apparently right when it happened, which is something I didn't know at the time. I simply knew that I was feeling very much what I call my earthquake symptoms. And then I was actually seeing the ground rolling, even though the effects where I live, which is 40 miles north of L.A., were not obvious. In other words, the ground wasn't moving in the way that you might think I meant. It was more like I could see the waves, I don't know what you would call it, in the etheric body of the earth at the time, and then found out about an hour later that we had, I believe they gauged it to be about a 7.2 in Baja, which is not that far away. So I don't know if you were aware of that, but that happened last, I think it was Sunday.
Yes, I was aware. I heard that 20 million people felt that one. That's quite a few people. Of course, there's a lot of people in that part of the country, but when 20 million people feel an earthquake, I think it's indicative of the fact that we have prophetic news, be it although, Greek and ancient, anywhere from 500 to 2,000 years old of manuscripts, saying that, in certain times of the end, not necessarily end of all things or end of all of the earth, but a great change that would be occurring in the end of what we would call an era, not error, but error, there would be a great number of earthquakes, and it looks like they're kind of picking up. We've got one, fairly frequent ones that are pretty large now. We've always had a lot, but we never have had lots of big ones. So, and that has increased too. The number of earthquakes has picked up. I'm anticipating that the reason for that isn't natural. I think that we're at a level now where the military-industrial complex is so far ahead with their technology that we have no clue what their capability is, and I think that this gives even not just American but other countries or that group of people that use this technology plausible deniability, and they can attack without having left a trace, they think. But we've traced that. I've looked at the frequencies that were emitted by HAARP prior to the earthquakes. After that research by Sonoma State University put out that research on earthquakes of 5 and greater, and prior to all those earthquakes, HAARP was going